Okay. All right, so here, we got this. Here's your treble clef. Here's your staff, 1 sharp. The 1 sharp is telling you that it's the key of G, because G has 1 sharp, and that sharp is F sharp. Now, if I were to, maybe if I were like handwriting this and it was like really, really sloppy, okay, you would have this. You know, some guys might write really, really fast. Instead of like making sure that this is exactly on the F sharp, like sometimes they might just write that. So don't get confused. It doesn't mean E sharp, okay? That the sharp is always going to be on the line or whatever it is that they're referring to with sharp. What I mean by that is that if I'm in the key of D, guys, D has 2 sharps, F and C. So when I use that sharp sign, I'm going to put the sharp sign literally in the spot of the F note and the C note. Okay, does everyone understand that? So for D, you're never going to have this. I mean, unless the guy's really, really sloppy at writing, but you're never going to have this. Like 2 sharps for D, you're never going to see something like that, ever. Okay? And if you do, just know that maybe they were just writing it real quick, and that's really what they meant. Okay, so now that we understand that, check this out. We can move this up, okay, F sharp. So now, when I write a piece of music out, this note right here, Spike, this note, and this is for everyone too, this note right here is saying every single time that I see an F sharp or an F right here, that's telling me that it's always going to be sharpened. Always, 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 always in a piece of music, okay? So, what if I were to see something like this then? Well, now it's back to natural, okay? And so what's natural in a piece of music? Well, check this out. Checky, checky. Here's your F natural, okay? Here's your, I'll do down here. Here's your F natural. Here's your F sharp, okay? So, if I'm in a key of G right here, and I see this note, I play the F sharp. And when I see the natural sign, I play the F natural. Now, here's the question that I get asked a lot, though. All right? By the way, I see a lot of questions. I'll get to them in a second. All right? Which note is that, Spike? Is this an F sharp or an F natural? Okay? F sharp. You got it. You got it. You got it. Okay. Everyone understand this? This line right here is your measure line. What it does is that it literally breaks up the measure into a completely new measure, okay? And so what happens is that this is in F sharp, it's not in F natural. And I get this question a lot from so many students of mine that they say, okay, if this note is F natural, does that mean that it remains until this note? And the answer is no. The second you see the measure, it resets itself and goes right back to the beginning. So this is the same as saying an F sharp, okay? Now, if I were to put an F right here, is this an F sharp or is this an F natural? And the answer is that this is an F natural, okay? Because the natural sign or sharp or flat sign, whichever note it is, remains that way until the next measure, okay? Yeah, Buffin, you got it, you got it, you got it, okay? So here, let's do another one. And now another question that I get asked by people all the time, I might as well just erase that whole thing. Another question that I get asked by people all the time is this. They go, Walt, okay, this note right here, is this an F sharp or is this an F natural? Because the F sharp, I think, only refers to this octave, right? And the answer is no. This note right here is an F sharp, but this sharp sign is saying every single solitary F that you have in that entire piece of music is always going to be sharpened unless it says otherwise. All right, stream, I'll see you. All right, so here. This is an F sharp. This is also an F sharp. Now, here's an F natural, which, what would that make this note? Okay? Let me erase that. Let me bring this back. So, okay, here's the next question. Say that I'm reading this note. Let me erase that. Now I'm all brown. All right, so here, look. F natural, right? What note is this then? Okay? Is this okay? This you're reading a piece of music. Let me do an actual desktop shot of this, guys. It will actually help you guys out a lot. Okay, we're reading this piece of music, and you have this note. It says F natural. What's this note now? Okay, I see a lot of people are saying natural, and that's wrong. The answer is that this is in F sharp. Okay, when you see an accidental, that's what this is referred to, and I'll explain that in a minute. Yep, really, really, yeah. I wouldn't lie to you. I'm saying like this. If I take this note and do an F, and I bring it up an octave, but this note is a natural, this note is now going to be an F sharp, because this natural right here only is saying naturals for the entire piece of music. Okay? So, if I were to do this, make that sharp, and then bring it down, like this. All right, so the answer for this drill right here is this. This is an F natural. This is an F sharp, because this sharp right here. Let me try and do that. Can you see that? See the box right there? This F sharp is saying F sharp for the entire piece, but this F natural means only within that octave, and that's it. Only within that octave. So here's an F sharp. This is also an F sharp, and this is an F natural. So if you want to hear how it sounds, it'll sound like this. Here, let's try that again. Okay? Okay, now, if I were to go to the next measure, and I were to go here, this is an F sharp. Because of this measure line, it repeats everything from here. Okay, so now that we understand that, are there any questions? Once you absolutely 100% see that measure, it all resets back to the beginning. Okay, now, here's where things get crazy though. And not crazy bad, just you have to understand this. By the way, Buffin, or you know, who was it? Who wanted to Skype me? Oh yeah, Callens. Okay, Callens, give me a second, man. Alright, so we have this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're in the key of C. Alright? We're in the key of C here. There's no sharps or flats. Let me turn off the light of death. Okay? Here's your treble clef. Alright, there's no sharps or flats, but we have this. Here's your D. Now what if I put D natural? Okay? And then there's a D sharp here. And I go D natural again. The next measure, just by default, it's going to be a D natural because the key signature is saying that there's no sharps and no flats, and anyway. So Logan, what are you saying? They're all naturals until you put a sharp. Yes, absolutely. Now, if you're in a sharp key signature, like I just was in the key of G, they're all natural except for the F. If I'm in the key of B, B is in boy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. B has 5 sharps, okay? The 5 sharps are F, C, G, D, and A. Okay? So notice how I'm actually putting the sharps on the actual notes. F, C, G, D, and A. Most people don't realize that. F, C, G, D, and A. You're just replacing them with sharps. That's what you're doing.